Welcome once again, my friends, and thank you for stopping by to listen to an old storyteller. Today we have a European tale, and the title of this story is The Language of Animals. There was once a man who had a son named Jack, who was very simple in mind and backward in his thought. So his father sent him away to school so that he might learn something, and after a year he came back from school. "Well, Jack," said his father, "what have you learnt at school?" And Jack said, "I know what dogs mean when they bark." "Well, that's not much," said his father. "You must go to school again." So he sent him to school for another year, and when he came back he asked him what he had learned. "Well, father," said the boy, "when frogs croak, I know what they mean." "You must learn more than that," said the father, and sent him once more to school. And when he returned after another year, he asked him once more what he had learned. "I know all the birds say when they twitter and chirp, caw and coo, gobble and cluck." "Well, I must say," said the father, "that does not seem much for 3 years' schooling. But let us see if you have learnt your lessons properly. What does that bird say just above our heads in that tree there?" Jack listened for some time, but did not say anything. "Well, Jack, what is it?" asked his father. "I don't like to say, father." "I don't believe you know, or else you would say. Whatever it is, I shall not mind." Then the boy said, "The bird kept on saying as clear as could be, the time is not so far away when Jack's father will offer him water on bended knees for him to wash his hands, and his mother shall offer him a towel to wipe them with." Thereupon the father grew very angry at Jack, and his love for him changed to hatred. And one day he spoke to a robber and promised him much money if he would take Jack away into the forest and kill him there and bring back his heart to show that he had done what he had promised. But instead of doing this, the robber told Jack all about it and advised him to flee away, while the robber took back to Jack's father the heart of a deer, saying it was Jack's. Then Jack traveled on till one night he stopped at a castle on the way. And while they were all supping together in the castle hall, the dogs in the courtyard began barking and baying. And Jack went up to the lord of the castle and said, "There will be an attack upon the castle tonight." "How do you know that?" asked the lord. "The dogs say so." At that the lord and his men laughed, but nevertheless put an extra guard around the castle that night. And sure enough, the attack was made, which was easily beaten off because the men were prepared. So the Lord gave Jack a great reward for warning him, and he went on his way with a fellow traveler who had heard him warn the Lord. Soon afterwards they arrived at another castle, in which the Lord's daughter was lying sick unto death, and a great reward had been offered to him that should cure her. Now Jack had listened to the frogs, and they were croaking on the moat which surrounded the castle. So Jack went to the lord of the castle and said, "I know what ails your daughter." "What is it?" asked the lord. "She has dropped the holy wafer from her mouth, and has been swallowed by one of the frogs in the moat." "How do you know that?" said the lord. "I heard the frogs say so." At first the lord would not believe it, but in order to save his daughter's life, he got Jack to point out the frog who was boasting of what he had swallowed, and, catching it, found that what Jack had said was true. The frog was caught and killed, the wafer got back, and the girl recovered. So the Lord gave Jack the reward which was promised, and he went on further with his companion, and with another guest of the castle who had heard what Jack had said and done. So Jack and his two companions traveled on towards Rome, the city of cities, where dwelt the Pope, in those days the head of all Christendom. And as they were resting by the roadside, Jack said to his companions, "Who would have thought it? One of us is going to be the Pope of Rome." And his comrades asked how he knew. And he said, "The birds above in the tree have said so." And his comrades at first laughed at him, but then remembered what he had said before the barking of the dogs and of the croaking of frogs had turned out to be true. Now, when they arrived at Rome, they found the Pope had just died, and that they were about to select his successor. And it was decided that all the people should pass under an arch whereupon was a bell and 2 doves, and he upon whose shoulders the doves should alight, and for whom the bell should ring as he passed under the arch, was to be the next pope. And when Jack and his companions came near the arch, they all remembered his prophecy, and wondered which of the 3 should receive the signs. And his first comrade passed under the arch, and nothing happened. And then the second, and nothing happened. But when Jack went through, the doves descended and alighted upon his shoulder, and the bell began to toll. So Jack was made Pope of all Christendom, and he took the name of Pope Sylvester. After a while the new pope went upon his travels, and came to the town where his father dwelt. And there was a great banquet held, to which Jack's father and mother were invited at his request. And when they came, he ordered his servants to give his father the basin of water, and to his mother the towel, and wherewith the pope would wash his hands after dinner. Now this was, in those days, a great honor, and people wondered why Jack's father and mother should be so honored. But after Jack's father had offered him the basin of water, and his mother the towel, Jack said to them, "Do you not know me, mother? Do you not know me, father?" And made himself known to them, and reminded his father of what the bird had said. So he forgave his father, and took him and his mother to live with him ever afterwards.
Thank you once again for listening to this story. If you enjoyed this story, please press that like button. Also, please help an old storyteller out by subscribing to my channel. The next story will be posted in a few days, so until then, may your story continue to be a good one.